We're starting.
Oh, great.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
awesome.
We need a bell.
Do we?
I don't know. Maybe.
Should I hit the fake button again?
Yeah.
Do we have a bell?
No.
But we should get one.
I bet you I could. You know what we really need to do
We're
one of
gonna
these
order.
days is load up these buttons to play things.
Oh, that's good.
That's actually
Yeah.
a good idea.
It's like there's one.
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
No.
How did we just figure this shit out?
There we go.
Oh,
This is
Dude.
going on the bloopers reel. That's
don't you
my
dare.
favorite.
I think they're messing with us.
I think so.
No, we're
yeah,
not.
They know.
no! I swear to God, I've never tried to hit these buttons.
This is
Because I thought
What did
this
you
is-
think they were?
Well, I thought
Fake.
you had to I thought you had to like load on the clip that you wanted.
Okay. Just keep hitting that one after me.
that one sucks. Which one's the good one? The yellow one? No, do the yellow one.
I'm fucking colorblind. Which one's yellow?
This one. No, that one. I like the green.
All right.
Stay away from the green.
That was so nice.
I need to label these.
Yeah.
Oh
good
my
idea.
gosh. What's fucked up is I've been recording for like 90 seconds, so Nick's gonna get all this. And
Yeah.
just, of course,
He's gonna use
fuck
it
up
later,
Our
yeah.
podcast.
Nick, don't fucking touch it.
All right, we're really gonna start now. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. See, that didn't work.
No. You needed the other one.
There it is.
There it is.
Welcome to the world. No, just kidding. All right, cool. Well, hey, Mike and Kristen, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You know, our pleasure. We love to just kind of kick it off with a little bit of intro.
Yeah, should we find out who Mike and Kristen are?
That's what I just fucking said.
Oh, okay.
Brandon.
I didn't know we could curse on
I
this.
didn't know either. I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
That made this a
excited.
lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I try not to do it like in the first minute like I just did, but yeah, listen, we don't care.
Okay.
Right? We're trying to attract our tribe of clients here.
Gotcha,
So,
okay. So fellow cursors.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
maybe.
it.
I thought you were going to drop a.
No. I
So-
held it out. I held it back.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's probably better than what I did. But yes, Brendan, you can start because every single time I try and start, you yell at me. So you can go ahead.
Wow.
I'm gonna cry.
So we're with Mike Urban and Kristen Karshus.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Mike is with EXP Realty and Kristen with Keller Williams Chestnut Hill.
For now.
And
Forever.
For
What
the
if our
moment.
leadership team is listening? What did you say?
I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm usually not at a loss of words. So we are very delighted to have you both on today. And I took a minute to look at your LinkedIn profiles and get a little backstory on each of you. And, you know, one of the things that we always find interesting is to hear a little bit about, you know, by a little bit, I mean like 2 minutes each probably on, you know, sort of how you ended up where you are. So, Kristen, how'd you go from being a social worker to selling real estate?
Sure. So I have my bachelor's in psych and my master's in social work. I worked for Head Start for 10 years. It's a nonprofit in Boston that services low-income families. And though I loved what we were doing and the mission, it was a lot, and I had some major burnout. I had bought my first home when I was about 22, and my investment property when
That's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I honestly,
That's
I
a
had-
really long time ago.
yeah, it was a really long time. Whatever. Yeah, there it is. And I didn't know I knew nothing. I just heard that owning was better than renting, right? And
It's the truth.
And I came across a house and it was a short sale, and I also didn't know how valuable that was at the time in 2009, and I grabbed it, and it has served me well. And
You don't still have it, do you?
I do not. I traded that right up for the home I'm currently in, and
So you sold it recently?
2 years ago.
Wow.
Yep.
Probably, arguably at the, I don't want to call it the peak, but very close to the peak of,
It wasn't actually
market.
because
it was probably in Peabody or something. That
it was
tripled.
yeah, right. We actually, again, like, this is the fun thing about real estate. We nailed the timing without knowing we nailed the timing, because the home we're currently in then skyrocketed.
Wow.
And so now we have some serious equity, and it's awesome, and we'll do some things with that. But yeah, so anyways, I just enjoyed it. And
So
then,
you were like, I'm dealing with kids in a Head Start program and dealing with customers looking for homes is a better idea.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that thought process look like?
Yeah. And I was like, my sister-in-law who works with me, she said she's a bartender at Legals. She was their number one bartender. Very, very good. And she was like, hey, I'm interested in getting my real estate license. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, let's go do it. And I just fell in love with it. Actually really loved the real estate law. I was into it. And like in practice.
You're into that too, I hear.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally I look at it.
On the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And in practice, we rely on you to navigate that, and it's not what we do. And so then I learned how to sell homes after I got my license with KW, and I just fell in love, and here I am, 5 years later, team.
What an awesome transition / evolution to go from like caring with vulnerable populations to dealing with another set of vulnerable population, which is home buyers and sellers.
Totally. Yeah.
Very cool.
Mostly buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
50-50.
There's going to be a lot of like side.
Some of that.
So, yeah, a lot of jabs in as much as we can. Yeah.
Okay. We can live with that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can take it back, that's
Oh,
all.
yeah,
You know?
listen.
Yeah. Okay, great. Here we go.
Let's do it. Let's do
Awesome.
it. You ready?
Keep working on your jabs.
Yeah, that was a
So,
good one.
so Mike, tell us a little bit about you. You were an electrician at one point?
Yeah, so right out of high school, my dad had a business in Pennsylvania, and I did electrical work, industrial,
Old
residential.
Forge?
Yeah.
Is that in Valley Forge?
No. Old Forge is actually a small town in Pennsylvania, probably about an hour and 45 minutes outside of Philly, and it's considered the pizza capital of the world.
Why
Everybody's
is that?
I don't know.
Seriously?
Everybody's Italian there. There's a special style of pizza that they make there.
What
Which is
style?
what?
They call it Old Forge style pizza.
But what, like,
Is it Greek, Italian?
It's all Italian, but it's like a special, deeper, square or rectangular crust pizza.
is
It's
it like,
pretty cool.
is it like bakery pizza?
Kind of, yeah.
Is the
It's
cheese
really good.
different? Is it like grated cheese instead of like
It's-
Wicked saucy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not real saucy. No, it's you know what? I'll ship you some.
Are you
there-
Italian, Mike?
I am Italian.
Okay,
yeah.
same.
Half
So
Italian.
then we can trust your
Kinda,
judgment. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm
So,
Italian, I guess
on
I'm
your
just an
mother's
asshole.
side?
Yeah, on my mom's side.
Yeah, Urban doesn't sound like an
No,
Italian
my dad
name.
was Lithuanian.
Ah.
So I don't know what that is or where it is or where it's from, but I guess somewhere around Germany, maybe. I don't know. I'm not good at geography.
We'll check the map later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll check it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right out of high school, started doing electrical work for 10 years. And then I actually got sick for a while. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I was sick for a while, didn't know if I was going to recover. And I knew that I didn't want to do electrical work in the future, or any kind of electrical work in the future. I kind of wanted to do my own thing. Not that I wasn't. I was basically running the business at the time, around the time that I got sick with my dad. And then I said, if I recover, I want to get into something different. And at the time, my brother-in-law was just starting a company. And he said, you should get your real estate license. And I did. And pretty much the rest is history. I did electrical work after I recovered for like 3 months. And, every single year after that, I was like 60, 70 units per year.
Yeah, that's
no
awesome.
rentals.
Is it weird that like your brother-in-law got you into it and my sister-in-law got me
Yeah, my
into
brother-in-law
it? There's
is
a
a-
lot
They're
of
actually-
things
I'm feeling
happening
a
here.
synergy
Yeah.
here.
Oh, really?
Right?
My brother-in-law's, I don't want to talk too much about him. I'll probably get sued. But yeah, he got
This
me
is a
into it.
No,
publicly
now I'm
distributed
intrigued.
podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I'm thankful that
You,
that
you
he
had
did.
me at sued.
I'm thankful that he got me into it. But that's it. So the rest has been history. For the last 6-7 years, been selling real estate.
Awesome.
So you the guy we want when we are worried about the electrical system as our agent.
You could call me.
All
You
right.
could call me. I give my
Especially in a
Good
no
to know.
inspection day.
Couple
Number to the
double
back
taps.
phone.
Double
Yeah.
taps you can solve on the
I
panel.
got it. No
Yeah.
problem.
Sweet. And what's really interesting, I don't think I told you this, but the reason I know Mike is because we almost did a transaction
Almost.
together.
We were like really close.
Like, I mean, as close as one gets, other than no offer.
yeah.
And
Did
like,
Seth tell you to take a hike?
I think he was
No,
trying
I
to
was-
get my client's contact information while I was there.
well,
I'm not entirely sure.
I
but
saw. I probably do have their contact info because we sign everybody in at the open house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And no, I think we showed this property. It was a couple who was relocated from Texas.
Yes.
I remember it like it's burned into my brain. I think we showed him this place like 4 or 5
Yeah, it
times.
was a lot.
And I remember telling my client, he's like, wow, these people must be really interested because like usually if second showings are pretty good. Let alone the 4th, 5th.
Well, when you go to
6th.
the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, it's over. It's not happening, actually. That's your gauge.
That was the tell. That was the
Sign
tell.
that they're just trying to justify it.
Yeah, they're justifying why they're walking at that point.
Yeah.
Second showing's good.
Yeah,
after
well,
that.
Maybe that doesn't
next
bode
time.
well for some of our existing listings, but yeah, and just like, we super nice guy and hit it off, and luckily his clients ended up finding a really nice home in Winthrop. So
Not
One of yours?
Not one of Seth's. No.
yeah,
No,
super
we don't- we-
super pissed. I just censored myself. Yeah,
Wow.
No, I was like, I saw him write like offer accepted or something like that, and I had just seen his client like everywhere in town.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you guys buying, Crescent? And they're like, yeah, hell yeah. I think that was the street
That
name
was
even,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that was it.
it's just a small
You
town.
even
man.
know, huh?
Yeah,
You
I
even
just-
know.
He probably sent
I
some
remember.
He definitely does.
I actually have your LinkedIn
They get
profile
the-
on my wall, and I've been scratching out your picture for 2 years. This is
They
all
get
a
the reference
sabotage.
magazine, just so
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
They definitely do now. Yeah, yeah,
Have you
closed it
seen
with up
Reference Magazine? You are mine.
Oh yeah, I stole it.
yeah.
Replicate that somewhere else, my friend.
Coming soon to Middleton.
Coming
maybe,
soon.
Yeah.
It's real good. You could be.
Tri-town.
You could be in it.
Yeah. For free, right? For
No,
free.
you'll have to
Yeah.
sponsor it.
That'll be $12,000.
It's cheap.
It's
cheap.
nice. It's not the most inexpensive thing I do, So, and then obviously Kristen, yeah, we met. Geez, we also strangely, I'm just realizing, almost did a deal together
Which one? Oh yeah, in Winthrop.
back in the day, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and you
But
at
then we
least
did.
successfully put it under contract at first, which is then we yeah. There you go, right? Successfully put it under contract, right?
Yes.
And then you pulled out right after the inspection. Like, I was super pissed.
Well, there
and-
was some issues.
yeah, but we ended up selling it
You
for
did- of course
significantly
you
more
did.
money, which was
Yeah,
great.
great.
Nice.
And
That's
then,
awesome.
And then we did end up doing a real deal together in PP,
Yeah.
which was great. So you
Right.
did a good job there. There was a lot of offers in that place. So.
I know.
Peeves, crazy market. So, listen, we just wanted to have you guys on as top producing realtors in the Boston area. Love to talk about just growing teams because you have a team in Philly still, correct?
In
Old
the
Forge.
Scranton
Yeah, yeah.
area. It's
Okay.
closer to Scranton.
I just
guess.
presume.
That just makes me smile. Scranton, Philly.
Yeah,
Do
there
you
you
get
go.
like office like
all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
I'm from the office.
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah,
the office.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
And then obviously you have a team that you're growing here as well.
Yeah.
And we obviously have a team here at Reference that we're trying to grow, and it's it's hard work, right?
Yeah.
It's really really hard work. So I'd love to talk a little bit about that today, and ultimately. Obviously we got a bunch of stuff at the board we could talk about, but really the market has been shifting like wildfire, right? So we
For
went
sure.
through a huge slide all last year. And I'm sure that I've said this before, but I remember very vividly, not understanding what was happening in the market for the first kind of time, right? Which was pretty weird. I had all these listings on the market and open houses came to a halt and it was just crickets. And we just ended up with double-digit listings on market. And I was freaking out, quite frankly. Is this, the equity didn't disappear overnight, but the affordability did. And what did how could you navigate this with your client? And luckily, I think that was April-ish, May-ish. And then we saw the interest rate slide back again into August, September, which was the last 4 months low in interest rates other than right now. And the dam broke, right? And everything started moving again. And then slowly rates climbed again and again. And we've only been doing the podcast for 3 or 4 months now, and I remember even just talking about 2-1 rate buy downs just in November, and
Right.
that's how you had to get deals done. And here we are again. A bunch of stuff I have went under contract this last week. Open houses were really busy again. So I just want to see what are you guys seeing out there? Whether it's open house traffic, offers written. Talk to me a little bit about, from each of your point of views, what's going on in the market right now.
I'll go first on that one.
Love it.
So I think that, at least from my perspective, I sell in the city and north of the city. I live in Stoneham. So
Cool.
I feel like every market is pretty unique. And
For sure.
the markets that were hyperactive prior to COVID are the ones that picked up the fastest. Obviously, best school districts, stuff like that. People gravitate towards those markets, right?
Yeah.
I feel like those ones are the ones that are going to still be recovering. And then the markets that received what I like to call artificial appreciation, somebody got outbid in neighborhood A and they decided to go to neighborhood B or even neighborhood C, the B and
Still
C,
overpay.
yeah. Those markets are the ones that are slowing down. You know what I mean? Those are the markets that are slowing down. So the ones that are nearest the best school district neighborhoods, those are the markets that are slowing down. So it's up and down no matter where you go. And every market it's actually good for us as producers because it makes it for entry level, not that I'm knocking any kind of net entry level agent, but it makes it harder to decipher, in my opinion,
Sure.
for your clients. You know what I mean? To make the right decision. And that's what I've been seeing. How about you?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, we were able to write several offers under ask, get things accepted, negotiate 6 weeks ago. And
Isn't that so crazy?
yeah. And we're sphere based. So, I mean, we go with people go, we've sold in over 40 towns but I'm mostly in the north of Boston. And, we're seeing the same thing. If it's a top rated school system, and if it's clean, it's, whew. And if it's priced right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line in any market. If it's priced right, it doesn't matter. And we're looking at like, what's the mortgage, just to throw it up, what was the mortgage at 3,000 5 months ago? It was a mortgage 3,000 12 months ago. What is it today? And then we're showing that to our sellers and saying like, are you going to,
what would you do?
What would you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just giving them the data. And I'm like, we can't even look at 6 months ago. Who cares about 6 months? We just look at 1 month, like 1 month.
Yep.
And it's low inventory, obviously, but frankly, like we strategize to price the week that we go on against our competition.
So do we.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. And so we talk about range, but we don't talk about the final number until, the morning of, honestly.
It's
like,
the same here.
Yeah.
See what's active on the market, see
Yeah.
what under agreement, how fast it went under agreement.
Right.
Yep.
And so my feeling with even my buyers, I'm like, do you love the home? Can you afford it? Or is it going to make you house poor? Don't buy it if it's going to. And are you what are your goals? Like, do you want to see equity and trade it up in 5 years, or is this your forever home? Like, then go for it and go hard. Who cares? So the answer, I guess, is
what was
everyone
the question?
everyone get ready. I know I went all over the place.
No, you said
about teams.
In my brain, I went all over the place. The answer is it's product specific. There are micro markets.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
if it's priced right, it's going. If it's not priced right, it's sitting. And like it doesn't matter if it's in like number one top rated school system or town C, right? Mm-hmm. It's if it's priced right, it's still moving right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to debate a couple things with you guys.
Oh, let's go.
Quick. So this one might be too close to home, Kristen.
That's okay. Let's go.
And when this will air after the PNS, right? So we'll talk a little bit about it. So we're co-listing.
I object.
We're co-listing. I'll be vague. We're co-listing a couple properties right now, and dude, pricing's so hard. And I agree with everything you guys have said. We're doing the same thing from a pricing standpoint, but I personally am getting caught in a pricing trap, and I'm sure a lot of agents are, right? So, by the way, I've been full time since 2019, so I'm like the rookie, so to speak, out of you guys. You guys are more veterans. You guys have buying houses way longer than me, right? I'm just a sales guy at heart, right? And so something I really care about is just kind of to my core is client's equity, right? Like if something was worth what it was worth 3 months ago, I refuse to believe the market fell apart. Market just, it didn't crash. It's not going to crash, at least not right now. It depends what happens with debt ceiling bullshit, right? But so it's really hard to price when you're talking about unique properties versus competition. And I feel like what most lazy realtors do is dramatically underprice still. And I feel like underpricing in this market can be slippery, right? So
it's dangerous.
It is very dangerous. And and so I've like refused recently, probably the last 4 or 5 months in this flexing market to underprice property because listen, it's not 2021 in June, right? So, and literally 2 weeks ago, I had some of the busiest open houses I had. And then this past Saturday, it was kind of slow again. Okay. And that was like, rates are maybe staying at 6, but that one quick rate slide that we had a couple of weeks ago brought the people out. It was also right after New Year's resolutions, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I just thought it's very tough to try and get the client the most money, right? And I work with a lot of developers too, and so sometimes they're more patient than the average homeowner, and the property's vacant, so it's a little bit less intrusive, right? But it's really hard to price trying to maximize value in a shifting market. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, because I agree with you. I also talked to a realtor who's been an agent for 40 plus years. And we were talking about the shifting market like 6 months ago. And she looked me stone in the eye, gave me some great advice. She's like, you can talk about all this marketing and all this other stuff you do. You want to know why homes don't sell? It's price. It's always price.
It's always price.
Right. So
it's like going to the gym and you just keep eating the same amount of food and you're not losing any weight.
Is that what's wrong? Is that what's wrong with me? You were going to make that joke, weren't you?
My mind's blown that's how that works.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's honestly the truth, though. Like, no matter how much marketing and advertising you put behind a listing, if the price is off, it's just not going to attract any buyer because the product that you're trying to market is just not. It's not priced right. It's just not priced right.
Yeah.
So,
But I think it's also fair to say, if it's priced right, if you've got two agents, same exact home, and they both come up with the same number, if one of them knows how to appropriately market, you're bringing more people through the door.
Definitely.
You're right. Like, so we can talk about it being, it's not, I agree. I hear her. It's price. But if it was only ever price, then everyone would just sell their own homes. Right.
Oh, listen.
Like,
sure.
Yeah. Right.
But that assumes they know how to price.
Sure.
Right? Like your
Sure.
expertise is in the pricing.
That's why you brought him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. See, he's pretty good. We should get ready.
Wrong one.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll
He's
figure it out.
colorblind. We got to label them.
Yeah, I did.
So, and it's interesting. I can't even tell you how many times in the last 2 to 3 years that I've had something sitting on the market. Wilshire is actually a great example. If you remember that property,
I do.
Right. Those were priced high. I got to be honest with you, right? We were trying to push the market based off square footage. I also learned a couple different things. Like sometimes when you just have a big ass condo, it doesn't mean it's worth big ass square footage
Right.
or dollars per square foot, right?
Sure.
Correct, because the pricing brackets change depending on square footage.
Yeah,
So
you know.
usually appraisers will they'll take comps that are 20% below and 20% above.
The price per square foot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like that was a good example that we had a number that we could get, and we ended up reducing, and after we adjusted the price, we got what we wanted. And at the same time, though, there's been properties that we've sat on the market for 40, 50, 60 days. One that I have even right now goes pending, multiple offers over asking, right? So like,
But what don't you think that's a combination of really strong marketing,
for sure, yeah.
broker tours, relationships, all the things,
Interest
right?
rates.
But I just think
Interest rates being the top to bring
Yeah.
all those
I
people
know you're
back
trying to
through.
like prop me up. Like we did a really good job.
We
on
did
this
do
one.
a really good job. I'm just saying.
Oh, wait, were you involved?
May or may not have been involved in that
So-
deal.
it was a combo.
I listen. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think there's this. I can't. How many agents list something that maybe was a little high in price or pushing the market, and then they just cut it in 21 days,
Sure.
14 days. It's lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
Right. And what are those agents doing during those 14 days? I think Kristen's point was if you're not marketing, making the phone
Nothing.
calls, calling your agent community saying, what buyers do you have for this? Who like, I watched Selling Sunset and I thought that all I had to do was take Adderall for 3 months and that I could be a realtor too. However,
Don't give away our secrets.
right. However,
I would be a very dangerous man. Adderall.
after talking to you guys and working with realtors, have learned that it is not party planning and showing up for the TV cameras and having everybody show up. Like there is a lot of expertise and a lot of skill that goes into pricing, that goes into marketing. Your relationships can't be quantified, right? Like the fact that the three of you all talk to each other all the time, potentially, and know that, oh, I remember Kristen had a buyer that was looking for this, or like you have these networks that sell houses. It's not the open house. And I mean, this is just my assumption as a non-realtor, but like, it's not like you throw up an open house sign and like, oh, wow, the buyer just showed up, right? Like it's hard work that you guys put in.
I think there's a lot that goes into the network that you build. And so when you do produce a product and you put it out online and, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, like we all now see it. And that is a huge exposure, right? And like that sells houses sometimes. We've seen
It's,
100%.
it's trust.
No question. Like you trust I'm pricing right. You
Yes.
trust I have a good product. And so
Yes.
you're more apt to bring me a client.
That is
Right.
100% true.
Right.
Yes.
That's
But-
how this works.
Like if somebody's looking in Stoneham and they have a buyer and they don't know a lot about Stoneham, they're calling you, right?
Correct.
Like, and you call Seth when you see Winthrop, and I
100%.
bet like a Middleton, like you're probably the girl.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Working on it. Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Working on it.
But anyway, like just I know this is like how's the market here? We are talking about pricing. Like this is what's so cool about it. But like I'm so hung up on what's really the right balance of cutting price or price correcting or stop trying to push the market, even when you are checking versus the competition, pricing the day of, and versus like being lazy, right? Because ultimately I can't tell you how many. It's literally probably happened over a dozen times that 47 days on market, we have 3 offers on the same day. It's like you can't make this shit up. Right.
Right.
And obviously as a buyer's agent, you're like, yeah, kick rocks, pal. I don't believe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, I think it's a tough pull and push a little bit.
It's a mix of both, and it's really, in my opinion, neighborhood and market dependent. And what it boils down to is having an agent that knows how to price in a shifting or changing market, because you can't necessarily underprice or overprice. You need to know what is happening in that specific market in order to get the seller the most amount of money.
And what if you have the buyer?
If you have the buyer, it comes down to reverse analyzing what a listing agent does, right? And then trying to figure out if the listing agent's pricing is actually accurate, and then taking that data, and that's how I usually build my offers for buyers.
What if the listing photos are from their flip phone? Like, does that tell
I
you
know it's
you're
gonna
going
be
to just walk circles around their...
I know it's going to be a fun deal
Yeah.
if that's the case. we seek those out, but no, it's
You do.
sometimes
Sometimes.
we do.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I honestly all the time. I mean, like I literally just sent a whole bunch of deals in Somerville and in Cambridge that, somebody took pictures on a Nokia flip phone or something like that for a $1.2 million listing. And the reality is that is probably going to be a place that sits on the market. And then the price per square foot reflects the photos, right?
Yeah.
Like it's usually overpriced. You know what I mean? And then I literally put it on my calendar sometimes
To go
watch.
look back at it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or when it's going to expire. Like I will literally track it because I know this is not going to go anywhere.
Have you ever
Smart.
looked at a property and said,
Only
just
Seth's.
looked at it and only Seth's.
They're usually overpriced.
And just said, oh yeah, I'm sending this one over. Let's go.
Yeah,
You're like praying your client loves it. You're like, oh, this is going to be a
Fish in
this
a
is gonna
barrel.
be a good time. Yeah, exactly.
It's tough, but it's good that we could sit around and talk about it because it really puts a perspective on the market for the people that are listening. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And what to do and what not to do.
Oh, and I think this is, it's, the bottom line is there, just like in any field, there are some really strong agents that are smart and understand markets and understand how to research and know their stuff. And then there are people that toss iPhone photos up.
100%.
And I think it's really important. I'm committed to the consumer, whether it be, you don't have to use me, don't use me, but you better call Mike or Seth. Like, don't use, you got to find a professional. And I'm committed to making sure that the consumer knows that we exist
100%.
and we have their back.
So other than a very good and long pricing conversation, how else do you see the market kind of shifting the last couple of weeks? So I know you said 6 weeks ago you were writing under ask offers. Does that mean that that's done now?
Well, again, like I think it's still specific to the market, right?
Are you sure
like
you're
in
not
general,
a lawyer? Because that
Yeah.
sounded like it depends. That was a very lawyer answer.
I think we just got something accepted at ask, but then we
Yeah.
also lost because people went over and we weren't even in the game. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by that like it's hard to generalize. I would say like, again, a really clean property north of Boston in the suburbs, it's going.
It's going.
It's going.
Define
Green
clean.
listing.
Yeah.
Like what does clean mean?
Like modern, taken care of. Even if, let's say, your heating system is 10 years old, not brand new, but it's been serviced every single year and it looks beautiful and it's taken care of, it's going.
Yeah, I find the stuff with like the right floor plan,
Sure.
even if
Yep.
it is maybe clean isn't the right adjective. Like
Right,
maybe,
sure.
But something that if you bought on Crossroads, a great example, close tomorrow. Mm-hmm. They're going to clean it Friday. Mm-hmm. They're going to paint it Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And move in.
They're moving in after they're done painting.
Right.
A property like that.
A home
Right.
taken care of.
Yeah, give me a week to just do what I want to do without my furniture, and I can move in. It's something that doesn't need a substantial renovation. It maybe has a good kitchen, but has one bad bath. I find that those are still even going pretty quick.
Yeah.
100%. As long as it's what I usually call move-in ready.
Yeah,
It doesn't
agreed.
matter if
That's
it's
probably better.
Yeah, if it's right out of 1975 or right out of 1985, as long as it's move-in ready, it doesn't have crazy shag, dirty carpets and all that stuff, and lint and dust all over the curtains. If it's move-in ready, even if it's not renovated, it's still going to be a decently hot property.
or
So what-
priced
Yeah,
very
price
well.
Which, by the way, this brings top of mind. I have a beautiful single family coming in Linfield. If either of you guys
We'll
have.
talk.
I drove
I have-
by it
I
over
have
the
buyers.
weekend.
I would call it move in ready.
I drove by it.
I actually took some photos. I'll share them with you.
Oh,
Are you looking for an over ask offer?
I'll tell you
on
what,
your
it's
move-in
gonna
ready
be
home?
it's gonna be priced right. So we'll see. Probably $8.99.
Waived
maybe
everything?
Nine,
It's
not agent owned, is it?
It's not. I represent.
$9.99.
I'm the designated seller's agent on this one. So, but yeah, we'll release the address off air maybe.
Okay.
So, okay, cool. So good talk about the market. So let's talk a little bit more about just teams, right? So tell us a little bit about your team structure. How long have you been doing the team thing versus solo agent world? And then we'll ping it to you, and I'm sure we'll have some good talk.
Yeah, so I had I have like an interesting setup where my buyer agent is my sister-in-law, and my administrative assistant is someone that I've known since I was 10 years old, and a very good friend. And so every single training I went on in Teams was like, do not hire family or friends. And I'll say I have a very large family, and though I love you all, and you're likely not listening, they wouldn't all be on my team.
Are you saying your family is
Just
not
in case.
listeners of the word?
They might be. I'm going to send
They
it
gotta
out.
be one
I'm
of
going to
the
send it out to my
34.
sphere. So yeah. So anyways, we Erica was the one who had told me we got our license together, and she stayed for a little while and at Legals while I moved full time into real estate. But what she did for me for a year was like go on. I would pay her for a showing, or I'd pay her for a smoke, or to whatever. Like I would just, that was kind of, she was like very, very part time. And then when COVID happened, she was like, bars closed, and she was like, let's go.
Someone's phone is ringing.
It's not mine.
Way to go, Mike.
It was me. I'm sorry.
We're like, oh my God, what is that audio?
It's a client.
I heard about the Linfield single family.
So
We're gonna go to the phones in a minute.
Oh God. So anyways, we started when COVID hit, we started full time. And at the same time, I was the crazy person that said, I know we're not sure where the market's going to go with COVID, but I'm just going to hire an admin because I'm drowning.
Smart.
So we
I
have
have
a
children and we need to
social
get to it.
worker and a bartender.
Yep. And we our Meredith and I coached cheerleading for 17 years.
Stop
together.
it right now. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
And we
couldn't
won
be
many
more
national titles.
amazing. A bartender, a social worker, both cheerleading coaches. I mean, you
Yes.
can deal with any asshole.
Anything.
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 And I think
should be a
that
reality TV show.
it really should be.
Oh my gosh, today.
Selling-
Stop.
Erica
Don't
was
even-
like-
don't even tell me.
Erica today was like, she's so funny. She's like, I would be a hit show. People should follow me around. And I was like, you know what, dude? We would be a hit show. Like, let's go.
I think there's something there.
There
think
is.
so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. So anyways,
But I
that's
think
it.
bartending's an underrated
Oh.
skill, especially from like a sales perspective. If you
Agents,
get a
bartenders.
good bartender or
100%.
good like waiter or server that is like an upseller, like your bill can double like that.
Yeah.
Like it is an often underrated
She was
skill
the
set.
number one bartender
Yeah,
for
there's-
legals.
Yeah,
There's
that's
so
pretty
many-
kick ass.
Yeah.
Really tough to teach sales skills around body language that I think you learn in that industry that are so translatable, whether it be to negotiating or hosting open houses. And
Sure.
I think that it definitely translates a
The
lot.
hospitality, statistically, the hospitality industry, those people make the best agents.
For sure.
They do, 100%.
Well, it's a hospitality business,
It
right?
is,
Like at the
yeah.
end of the day,
They do. They make the best agents. They work their butts off,
So yeah, so we they all did the KPA. You know what that is, the personality assessment. They nailed their job fit. They were both interviewed by everyone in my office because I was like, I'm not gonna just hire
Smart.
you, right? I want to make sure that I'm doing the right by you and by me. And I am like a very firm believer in culture, why, motivation, incorporating that in the team. And we're now looking for our marketing specialist, and so
I like that. I like motivation.
yeah.
So do you know that sign that says the 10 skills that require no talent?
Oh, yeah.
My staff complained about that. We had to
That's
take
ridiculous.
it. We had to take it down because it wasn't motivating,
That's
and
unacceptable.
and that some of the people thought that they
Should we be talking
required
about,
skill.
Should we be talking about this?
I don't know. They probably don't listen.
We have like a standards. Like do you ever read the book The No Asshole Rule?
No, but
No,
I probably
but
should.
I feel
Okay,
like
yeah. So
I feel like I
I
need
feel like,
it.
yeah, me too.
yeah,
Who's this written by?
It's I think it was Yale or Harvard. I don't know. It was an Ivy League history department that didn't that wanted to ensure they had someone leaving and they had a great vibe. And they were like, okay, who do we want? They had 1 million applications. They were amazing. Everyone was qualified, or resumes, whatever. And they were like, what's our criteria? And they go, can't be an asshole. So how do we define who's not an asshole? And so like we've adopted that. Like our next hire, we're going to be picky about it. We have such a good culture. Everyone like picks up where someone else left off. We take care of each other. We work hard together. You need to be part of the brand and the vibe. Like you have to fit in. Because if you don't, you're not going to, it's just a culture. It's just a culture killer. And if you have a culture killer, your people aren't working.
No question. So the sign he's referencing, it hangs behind my desk. And it says there's 10 things that require zero talent. Being on time, making an effort, being high energy, having a positive attitude, being passionate, using good body language, being coachable, doing a little extra, being prepared, and having a strong work ethic.
Give me your sign. I'm putting it up in my office.
So I had it on
great.
we have a whiteboard like this in a hallway in our office, and I wrote it myself.
Oh, that might be
Yeah, that might be a little
contextually.
passive aggressive.
Context matters, right?
Context matters.
I thought it was great and motivational.
You need to go to
but-
Home Goods and get another one.
Yeah. So now we have a
Just take
vision
mine off the
board.
wall.
No. Now we turned it into like, what's your why? So everybody can write their why, and we have some other. What do we do, or what's our mission, or something?
Do you
like that.
find that you can say anything to anyone once they really trust you?
That I believe that. I don't know if they believe that.
I would say
So-
that. I would say that about Brendan.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, just like in general, like not you, I mean, in general, if I believe that if you have if you are, you know their why, you bring it into the business, you stay on top of it and you hold it accountable. When you go to them and you need to hold them accountable to something, they hear it. They're like, yeah, man, you have my back all the time. If you think that I need to up my game in this area, I'm going to do it. I think if you do the vision board first and the whys, then you bring that sign in, nobody cares.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that this is your.
Yeah, if you just want some feedback.
Yeah, I was going to say not that this is your coaching section, but
I haven't had a
I think-
coaching session
I think-
from you in a while.
I think it's.
I feel
You
like
better
I'm
get her
overdue.
Venmo after.
I think
I call him my coach.
the
I'm not 500 an hour. Just so clear.
Oh, you are like a lawyer.
I almost went into law.
You should. You'd be real good.
this is
It
the mo-
depends. 500 an hour. Like you're already a lawyer. I'm hiring.
I
I'm
love it.
hiring.
Give or take.
Yeah.
Do you want me?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You feel like you'd be a good culture fit.
I would be.
This is the most comical podcast we've had thus far. So hopefully our listeners enjoy
Yeah.
the comedy.
I hope so.
I do think that's just to continue to rip on Brendan a little bit. This is a good lesson. This is a good lesson on context, right? Like if you write that, I think it is. It's passive aggressive. Someone's like, is someone attacking me? It's very reflective. Like, and everybody, like when you say things in a public meeting about being on time, everyone's like, was I late?
Yeah, was it me?
Are they
Yeah.
talking to me? Oh my
Right.
God, am I being made of right? Versus if you hang a branded store-bought sign about like that's like what you believe.
Yeah, these are the
And people,
standards.
this is standards, right? So it's very interesting. And like if I wrote it on this board and someone was always late, they would maybe feel attacked a little bit.
Yeah.
You missed the serial killer handwriting too.
Yeah. And it was in red with blood drops and an X like next to it. So
We changed positions. So my business partner is in this really cool program through Harvard Business School called Leads, and they are doing like all this stuff in gateway communities. And he came back one day and he was like, "Let's take a different spin on this." And I was like, "All right, I get what's happening here, and I'm all in."
Very cool.
Mike, what about you? Like, what drew you to be a team leader, and like what did you do to transition from individual contributor to team leader? Tell us about that journey.
It was terrible.
it's
perfect.
so hard, man, isn't it?
Yeah. So what had happened is I came and visited Boston. I was at the NAR conference there, and I decided bring my family out, visit a couple times before I decided to move here. I couldn't do any more in terms of production in Pennsylvania. I was tapped out, couldn't sell anymore. So I was not ready. I kind of had the move before the team. So I was scrambling to build a team. And at the time I was with Keller Williams. and I hired a buyer. Well, once somebody saw me move to Keller Williams, I had a couple people that reached out to me asking if I need help with whatever. And I ended up training somebody, like giving them all my knowledge, everything. And
Burned you.
yeah, it kind of just didn't work out. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do as much as I can on my own. So we ended up with 6 agents that just came over that were in our downline at Keller Williams, and we were feeding them, buyer leads. It wasn't a traditional team. That was working out okay. But then what had happened is once I left KW, we went to EXP. I changed it from the traditional team model where you're a team leader and you're splitting 50-50 with all the leads and their own business is split 50-50 to just dishing out leads to the buyer's agents from my listings or from whatever lead gen that we were running at the time. And we grew from 6 agents to 62 agents in a year. Or not 62, it was like 58 or something in a year. And so I don't run it as a traditional team. The only other people that I have beside the agents that are below me are my transaction coordinators. I have 2 in Pennsylvania and I have 1 here. I don't have an office administrator or something like that. I'm working on onboarding a VA for marketing and advertising and stuff like that. But all buyer leads get funneled down into the agents. They have their own levels of production, and I get a percentage from those buyer leads too. I'm missing out with, roughly, because they're in my downline, I'm missing out maybe on like 18% of a 50-50 split, but I'm not responsible for these people. That's the thing. Yeah. I'm not, they
liberating.
Exactly. And every single group has their own mentor too. So like, for instance,
isn't you.
That's not me.
Oh,
exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I've delegated those tasks to the agents that are below me. They all have mentors, and then it's not my phone blowing up from 62 agents all the time. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of the way that I wanted to run mine, because I saw it being more profitable on a time basis, I guess you would say.
It's easier to scale.
It's exactly. I could scale to 1,000 agents and still maintain this. Yeah, and be unfazed and less liability. So that's why I did what I did.
Yeah, and your highest and best use probably isn't managing 60 agents. It's
Correct.
Probably being in front of sellers and buyers.
That's what I like doing too. I like being able to help the agents. Like I have like a private YouTube channel that I send them, videos of prospecting, all this stuff. So I inadvertently help them, you know what I mean, as a whole. Yeah. And that's kind of just the way that, for now, that's the way that I do it, and it's been working out. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about YouTube.
YouTube is probably made up of half of my business, to be honest with you.
Wow. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Like, there's a handful of agents that do really, really well at YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And it's either working or it's not.
It's
usually
like
goes to light switch eventually.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I had a YouTube channel, but what I was doing was using it for my buyer and seller listings and buyers only, and I was recording videos and sending them unlisted videos of like, here's the market, here's how to write an offer, here's this, here's that. And then one of my clients said, you should just make these public. So that's kind of what I've been doing over the last like year and a half. But it's accounted for about half of my business. And you don't need, if any agents are listening, you don't need to have 1,000 or 5,000 subscribers. You need a couple hundred that trust, know, and like you, and you'll get all those referrals from those people if you're delivering good information.
How would you characterize the flavor of the channel? Educational?
Yeah, it's
what it sounds like.
It's educational, and it's first time buyers, sellers, stuff like that. We analyzing the markets, people will gravitate. Like, YouTube's the second most searched engine other than Google. You know what I mean? So if people are talking about want to buy a house in, let's say, Linfield, right? Of course,
real estate market.
I know of a good off-market listing in
Massachusetts
Linfield.
Is starting to look a lot.
Who has one in Linfield? You?
Say it again.
I said I heard about a good
But yeah,
hot take in Linfield.
The nice thing about YouTube, for any agent that's listening, is that not only do you attract new clients, but I have a weekly newsletter, and I don't publish that week's video. I publish videos from like 4 weeks ago that goes out to my sphere. So it's twofold, right? It's acting as a touch point for everybody that's in my sphere, plus new people that it's attracting and pulling in.
So how do you time block for...
It's a nightmare.
Video creation or content creation.
I'm sorry about the team stuff. I actually missed an important aspect of my team. So I have a...
Is it a nightmare?
Yeah, no. No.
It's a daydream.
I have, instead of an ISA, I have a team of 5 different ISAs that are...
What are ISAs?
Inside sales agents.
Okay.
That basically, when leads come into the website, they follow up within the first 5 minutes. So I've taken the follow-up process, which was taking a lot of my time on a daily, every single day, really, to any inbound leads are getting picked up by those ISAs. I don't have to deal with that. Then they pass it off to me. So I'm not wasting time. So what I did was, that was like my last 3 months of last year of 2022 and then into this year. So like, I don't even take a call from a lead, even if it comes, I don't care if it's a $5 million lead looking in Brookline or Lexington or something like that. I'll wait until they pass it off to me and they introduce me. Then it also makes that person feel like they're working with somebody that's somewhat reputable, because really what agent has the time to pick up the phone and call somebody? Like, I'm busy, right? I'm working in 2 markets. So it's kind of like a doctor's office, right? They hand that person off down to this person, then they finally get in touch with me. That saved a lot of time for me.
Yeah, smart.
A
great.
lot.
We do the same
a
thing.
lot. Yeah, you have to. I mean, you don't have to, but it's definitely, if you're getting a lot of inbound, like warm or cold leads, it's really good for conversion.
Yeah. Well, it's the highest and best use of time, right? Your highest.
Correct.
You're speaking of time blocking. You're better off shooting more YouTube content for
Correct.
the channel, doing stuff like this, which is great content. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons we're doing it. Providing knowledge to other realtors.
Speaking of, is that camera okay? Am I being blocked?
I mean, maybe
Yeah, I feel like I am.
that's why you have one over there.
But I'm looking this way, so that one's getting like my side
Oh my
angle. I know. I'm
gosh.
just.
Do you want to take a break and move the camera?
I mean, a little.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was in the zone too.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
I
you
know.
guys are-
We just
Chris,
totally
you-
fucking.
the zone.
Am I not being
You're in the
seen?
zone.
I was in the zone.
We'll get you. We'll get
I'm
you
just
back
gonna-
in the zone.
I need another chai, 2 shots.
Hold on. There's some on the carpet if you want to suck it up.
Is there a bathroom in here?
There's 3.
Outside.
There's 3. There's one right there. There's one in the front, and there's one in the back room.
Maybe the one right there is the most acceptable.
Yes.
No lights.
Here, can I go sit in his chair?
Yeah, go ahead. I moved it.
We got you now.
You're good.
Oh yeah,
All right.
you can be
Okay.
seen.
I was like, what's my mind?
You just kept looking over and you're
Yeah.
like, Mike.
I was like, and I kept going like this, and I was like trying to move.
That's so great.
So where are you in Middleton?
I'm on the Boxford line.
On the
Are you familiar with
Boxford
Middleton?
line, I am.
Okay, so so I'm off like East and Peabody,
Yeah,
off near Ross.
yeah.
I'm on Ross.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on the board of the Boys and Girls Club in Lynn. We own a camp in Middleton, like a 100-acre camp off. Is it Salem Street?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So is it just like a regular like camp, or is it like what kind of camp is it?
Well, boys. So
it is the boys-
it's the
it
Boys
is
and
the
Girls
Boys
Club.
Club.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
So like we bus the kids from Lynn to the camp in Middleton, and then a lot of families in Middleton go to day camp there in the summer as well. Like my title rep from Fidelity lives in Middleton, and her kid goes to camp there in the summer. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, you should look at Camp Crichton.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Because I effed that up bad last year, and I had like 95 camps at different times, and it was.
And this is like,
I didn't know there was like a whole culture of getting camps in like January for the summer.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure my kids
Did we move that? Okay, good.
Yeah, we did. We wouldn't want to hurt Brendan's feelings.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, well, good to know.
Well, you know, it's
Good to know.
sorry to break your zone, Mike.
Okay.
That's okay.
I have a
We'll
comment
get you
that'll bring
back.
in.
That's okay.
We'll get you back.
I went
Yeah.
for a smoke outside. I'm all right. I'm back in.
We have booze now. If you guys want to, I don't know.
That's
To get you
very
back in your
thoughtful.
zone.
What's up?
yeah.
White stuff on the table.
That's now the second reference to that particular substance in 2 consecutive episodes. So
Which substance?
nothing.
Oh.
It's on your coasters.
Oh yeah. So I have these coasters that are lines of Coke on like a black thing, and my mother came over and she's like, "What are these?"
But it's fake to be
It's
clear.
fake. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not real
yeah.
Coke. I mean, it's not 2004,
We'll talk off broadcast.
or I'm not 26 anymore.
So
All right, but don't you think that's all social media. Like you don't
What's
need
that?
to have a huge following for it to be like these. Like I see people, they're like, oh my God, I only have 1,500 followers. Why don't I have 20,000? And it's
Yeah.
like, actually, if you just nurture them well, like
Yep.
we have a huge presence on Instagram, and by huge, I don't mean followers, but like we get really good leads from there.
Yeah, it's you need to be everywhere. You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
I mean, in that capacity, when it comes to your face, you really need to be everywhere, so people could find you. And the reality is, it's very easy to follow up with your clients without following up with your clients on social media. So I know some high-level agents that literally just, this is a golden nugget, by the way.
Ooh.
Ding, ding.
Golden
Hold
nugget.
on.
Hold on.
Here we go. You ready?
Nailed it.
I know a lot of, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I know a lot of top producing agents that will funnel their leads on Facebook, find their leads and add them into, you could add to groups on Facebook. And what you can do is look at people on a per group basis and then only see their feed activity and then like, comment, and share whatever they're doing. And instead of like seeing your whole news feed, now you're just seeing your clients' news feeds, right? And that's really how they engage with a lot of different people. And
that's-
I don't even know how to do that.
That's
Yeah, I know,
fabulous,
it's-
and we're gonna find out.
Yeah. No,
Did you
it's-
actually show a specific?
Clients only lists. Thank
What
you.
day is
Well,
your-
you can upload an audience, right? Like
Well,
you
that's
can
another
from
thing.
your database put in your audience.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we do that too, and then we do a lot of remarketing. So we have people that come into our website from like literally, I think the record I have is like 410 days since they browse. They saw the remarketing on Facebook, and then they start getting engaged again with the content.
Yep.
Everything works. It's just like you got to dial it in. And
But I agree. You have to do everything.
you do have to do like
You know, you don't have to do every lead source.
Correct.
But you need to have every piece of the puzzle to
Yeah.
be able to either convert that lead or
correct. There's and some people like different methods of contact. Like some people don't like phone calls, they don't like text messages, or they don't like emails. They all want different
Right.
levels of communication, and being able to identify that is important.
Yeah. To the social media following or the YouTube channel following analogy, like how long would it take you to go talk to 400 people in a room and give them that 7-minute spiel on how to write an offer?
Right.
Right. And you can
Yeah.
do it like that. I've been
Correct.
snapping a lot today, guys. So
That's a good snap.
You know,
We should
you
put
can-
that on,
yeah.
like,
Oh, that's a good idea. You know.
especially since it doesn't pick up a snap.
See, then I see.
Yeah.
Almost.
Doesn't, yeah.
Almost.
So,
Oh,
that's
she's
what I
got it.
thought. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
We'll record that later.
I'm so upset.
I got you.
You know, there's it just you can talk to so many more people at length, and they can choose on how much they want to consume in that content. And yeah,
And the leads that come in from that are like, they feel like they know, like, and trust you already.
100%,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not like you're calling somebody that's
Well,
looking to relocate.
That's
It's
just
like a
what video-
cold turning hot. It's like a hot coming in.
100%.
That's just what video does. in
It does.
general, right?
I think anybody listening should think of, they don't need any professional setups. If they go look at my setup, I started with just an iPhone. That's all
Yep.
you need.
Yep.
You don't need anything else.
Especially the new ones. Yeah.
And
You know?
and how, so walk me through this. You do 10 videos at once, 15, or
Some
do you
people,
do
they call that batching.
Yeah.
I don't do that right now per se, because I'm just busy with the two markets. Plus I have two toddlers. So I just cram it in like one or two, like usually scripting takes about an hour or two. Recording only takes me about 20 minutes because I have been scripting my videos, and then editing probably another 2 hours to edit.
Are you editing yourself or having
right now,
someone else?
Right now I am, until I get to the point where I'm happy with my edits, and then I would like somebody to like copy what I'm doing and then scale it that way. But I feel like it's the highest and best use of my time right now.
Yeah.
How'd you learn how to edit?
Just YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, just watching YouTube videos. That's how I learned how to sell real estate. I mean, come on. The,
If only your channel had existed when you started.
I know. Jesus. No, just watching. It's really not that hard. You know
Kristen,
what
do you edit?
No.
Oh.
Meredith is a resident editor.
And
She's
do you
sad.
do
Because
so-
honestly, I gotta be telling you, I am like, I can go on Facebook, I can share stories, I can do a. She's like the one, and and she's been great. She's like doubled our sphere, and we've grown tremendously with her. And she'll still be the first person to say like, this isn't my background. I just know what I'm doing. Like our next hire needs to be like copyright, marketing, tech, like social.
Yeah.
And so, so like we have a lot more room to grow. We're going to start a YouTube channel this year. We're on Insta, Facebook, TikTok. We do TikTok videos.
So you probably already have the
she-
content for
Yep.
YouTube. You
Yeah.
just need to be loading it.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
do. Actually, we do videos on almost all our houses, so like we have plenty to get out there.
Why are you waiting?
Like it's next week.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's happening
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So I ate up Mike's. I'm eating up Mike's comments.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
no,
I'm
no,
like,
it's-
all right,
it's
tell me
okay.
more. Tell me more.
No, but that's it. I mean,
Me too.
Yeah. Right.
YouTube's for any business, I think that it's pretty imperative, especially for like the next 3 to 5 years moving forward. I think that the people that are doing it now are going to be the ones that really benefit
Right.
Yeah, I
3 to
agree.
5 years from now.
Yeah.
Because the stuff on Facebook is not really searchable, where
No.
YouTube
Right.
is searchable. Like,
Yeah.
maybe Facebook, Instagram, TikTok will get you now leads, right, if they're watching your content. But what happens with YouTube is I'm still getting leads from a East Boston video that I did 7 months ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
trying to say?
Yep.
Because they're looking up, something in East Boston. And
Yeah. And
sometimes
yours pops up.
right. And then sometimes what'll happen is if they Google the right keywords, sometimes your videos pop up on Google. If that's the case, then forget it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Game over.
It's game over. Right?
Yeah.
It's usually game over.
Yep.
Right. But
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, not a ton of followers.
never heard of it.
I'll have to send it to you.
Is the video of you hopping in the hot tub
Yeah,
with
man.
your clothes on?
That's the
on
one
there?
that they bought like 1,000 subscribers, I think. It was
So I think that's quite frankly the problem with our YouTube channel is it is pretty much right now the Netflix, if you will, the Rolodex of all these listings that we've done. There's not a lot of buyer content on there. Part of that is what I tell myself is quite frankly I'd rather attract the sellers. Quite frankly, I don't think the sellers are searching on YouTube. The buyers are just based off the
Correct.
age demo, etc. So
That's correct.
Once you start creating the buyer central content, I would imagine it would start to come. But that being said, the channel does look aesthetically pleasing. It's robust. It has the right content. You can tell there's some proof of concept. So I think if we started batching that in there, then that would be pretty wise at this point.
If you,
And I bet you do get a lot of trade ups,
yeah.
right? They're
Yeah.
looking on the buy side, but
Yeah.
they got to sell. and get-
I just had one they bought a $3.2 million single family home in Winchester, and they have a $1.5 million listing that I have coming on in Arlington.
Yeah.
You know, so
And
I
that's
mean-
likely from your Arlington suburbs video,
yeah, exactly.
whatever, right?
Yes, exactly. But if I could give you some advice, when you have listings and you're doing video tours, you should separate that from you should make a separate channel for that.
Yeah, we
And
do.
you should, you have a separate channel. Then
Well,
you
you
should
know
have
what it
two
is?
channels. You should have one
Yeah,
for
smart.
tours, and then you should have one for content for buyers and sellers to consume.
Yeah.
And what's the sweet spot in content length for those
I
videos?
feel like it's longer form, right?
They're longer form, so anything over 5 minutes, under 10 minutes, around 7 minutes is really good. And it's going to depend on it's very audience dependent
Yeah.
too. You know
Because
what
they
I
have
mean?
shorts now too.
Yeah, the shorts is obviously just short form content, but
which Gen Z is probably going to be.
Yeah.
eating
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Captions on or off?
Captions, yeah. Like I have somebody that edits that. Like I use Fiverr and
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for one-offs and stuff to do a lot of that editing for me because I'm not good at every single type of editing and I don't have the time to do the short editing. But separate channels for specific niches is pretty good. So if you just have a ton of listings and video tour listings, make them the property address, and it'll syndicate with Google too.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah. I can help you with that actually.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Great.
Appreciate
Let's
that.
do a mastermind, aka Mike teaches.
No,
us
it's
all
funny,
the
like,
things.
I'm not I honestly
There's so many agents. They're literally producing hundreds of millions of dollars in volume, and it's strictly from YouTube.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's the neighborhood tours. And I
Yep.
mean, listen, like, yeah, it's funny you say it, and I talk to a lot of my clients about it. Like everyone, when I ask them, what's the number one search engine? Everyone says Google. What number two? And there's pause.
Yeah.
It's,
Bing.
it's YouTube. It's YouTube. Man. It's Ask Jeeves.
Yahoo.
So about.com. Like they have to. We have to be on there. It's
Yeah.
like it's literally what's the word? It's just
It's a necessity at this
Yeah,
point.
thank
If you want to thrive, unless you want to get on the phone for 8 hours a day and just
Yeah.
cold call every single neighborhood and risk, some kind of fines, like there's really, from
you're right.
some lunatic, the reality is it's really hard to build a business unless you have a healthy budget that you could afford buyer leads incoming.
Yeah, true. Good call. Have you used Chat GPT at all?
I use it every day,
Yeah.
every single day.
Have you used it yet?
I don't even know.
Oh my God. What about you?
I don't even know what the fuck it
I'm
is.
like, what's
I'm going
happening?
to tell you real quick.
Where
right?
is this going?
So, real
Is
quick.
it like Bitcoin?
No.
Oh,
So, okay. So previously, are you familiar with Jarvis?
Yep, I use that too.
Okay, so I just canceled Jarvis because there's all these artificial intelligence platforms out there to
Okay.
help you, right? So remember I was talking to you about the property description,
Yep.
There you go.
right? So it's literally the bane of my existence to write these because I have a bad attention span. Like Brendan mentioned, I should be on Adderall or something. So I usually would just like write 2 to 3 words of like the key phrases that I think, and then I would literally ping one of our better agents, be like, "Dude, can you rewrite this? Grammar freak, really well written, eloquent, etc." So then along came Jasper AI, which is a website, Jasper. JASPER.ai.
but you already replaced Jasper, so we don't give a fuck about Jasper.
No, well, I think
It used to be called Jarvis back in the day.
yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and it was honestly kind of clunky to use.
It
but
was.
regardless, you could just spit out these keywords, and it would write hey, I need this 1,000-character bio on the property, right? So we were doing that for a while, and then Chat GPT came out, and like it caught wildfire, and I learned about it on TikTok, quite frankly. So I researched it. And it is just essentially a artificial intelligence bot that learns from you, but also continuously is essentially learning. And you can ask it to write things. You can ask it, hey, write me a 1,000-character property description for a waterfront condominium that is completely renovated, that has forced hot air, central AC, and gorgeous countertops and stunning views of the harbor. Right. And it's just going to be like, okay, no problem. And spits out this.
Yeah.
It's
I
unbelievable.
called him and I said, "Do you want me to write this? I'm pretty good at it." And he was like, "Just give me a minute." And then he sent me a whole description.
She's
You're like, wow,
I
that
got it.
is
I was like,
amazing.
"Oh, yeah." No wonder people are hiring
So,
you.
but no, it's very interesting. Like you can ask it, like, write me a 3,000 word blog on real estate in East Boston and use my firm's name, reference real estate. Boom, it'll spit it out. Now, I doubt how much. Just like if you copy and paste stuff from like Keeping Current Matters or something like that to your own website, that doesn't necessarily help your search engine optimization.
No, it won't.
But so I wonder how much of this
There's specific use cases for it,
yeah,
for sure.
Someone told me you have to take it and now be like, now rewrite that same
That's what I do.
paragraph. Yeah, as a person
Yeah, that's what I
thinking
do.
from this point of view, and then it's a little bit more or less.
I mean, you could do
written.
that like 10 times over. You know what I
know.
mean? It's really cool. I use it for helping script videos. I use it for property
That's smart.
descriptions. I use it for emails. Sometimes, like, I just put an email for a listing in, where the hell was it? Sudbury. And I wanted, like, to, not make it look like it came from a college professor or something like that, but clean it up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And, and just make it look professional. And then I saved that as a template on Gmail. But
So
yeah.
can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you get the Chat GPT?
Just Google it. Just Google it.
You just Google it.
Yeah.
and
So
it,
it's,
like,
I think the company's Open AI.
Yeah.
Do I pay for it?
no,
Because
it's
you know
free.
I love to pay for software.
It's actually currently free. I think the reason why you probably still need another piece of software, and listen, this is clearly taking off right now, and I'm sure it will be monetized in the immediate future. I went to go use it yesterday for something. It's busy.
Yeah, you can't use it. So they actually changed a lot of different things with it as well. It's not quite as smart because it was giving people, basically like how to break into a bank. You know what I mean? Like people, and like giving like precise, like data driven. This is what you should do. This is what you should do.
and
This
that's
is what you
such
should
a bad plan. Like,
It
they
is,
always
yeah.
catch you.
Yeah, I
like
know.
if you're gonna do it, you want like 1 cent on every Visa transaction in America. Like I want
100%.
that
do.
AI.
Me too.
Wasn't that a movie?
I think so.
Yeah, it could have been, or a Netflix show. I don't know, but
Be way better than robbing a bank. That's like child's play.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, at least we have our attorney here.
Honestly, what I want to see happen is like, how nice would it be to actually just have a not real but real virtual assistant that is kind of like having a second brain, right?
Yeah.
Like that could reference information that you've either asked, typed, whatever, and get it on the spot. Like that's really what I think the future of AI is going to be. And as a matter of fact, Elon Musk, that people were saying that, oh, he's lost $183 billion, but the reality is all of that money went into funding AI like that. You could see how much he funded for that, because I think they got billions of dollars from it.
Oh yeah, and
You know what I mean?
Microsoft I think just gave him
Because the reality
multi-billions.
is, like, if you don't do those things, like, how do you go a step further? Like, how do you take everything a step further?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the reason I brought that up, by the way, is not to make you feel silly that you didn't know what it was, but there's a lot of talk that something like this that is infinitely more naturally searchable would replace Google.
It's it's possible, but
Right.
How?
Because it is a okay. You Google.
Can it replace Siri? Because I hate her.
if you want to Google
Alexa, get her out.
hey, tell me about the top 5 restaurants in East Boston, for instance, and you ask Google, you're going to get a mix of paid advertising, organic, optimized stuff. You're never actually going to learn anything. Whereas if you ask that question to ChatGPT, I believe the data is from 2019, so it's probably a little behind. That's probably by design.
Yeah.
And you actually might get like a real answer. And it's just like a well-written, like if I ask Kristen, hey, what are your top 5 restaurants? I'm not going to get 5 links that I have to click in. Oh, no, that's
Then
not
why do I need you?
My point being, it's going to be a little bit more of a friendly
Can it price?
conversation.
No, it can't go.
Hopefully not.
It can't go. No, if that's the case, we're in
ChatGPT,
trouble.
how much should I list my house for?
I bet you want me to do it right now.
Yeah, please do.
I think
Because we started this endeavor with
How's the market?
expertise of a realtor in pricing.
So I don't think that it's going to be able to give you relevant information that's like. I don't think it'll be able to answer that question. It's gonna.
Hopefully,
it's
I
gonna
think
say-
I want you guys to have
I was
a
going to
job.
say ask Mike Urban.
I'm gonna have to get my.
I mean, if
I'm
you
gonna
could
come work for you.
Well, I'm ready to hire you. If it says ask Mike Urban, I will be very impressed.
I would imagine that it.
You got to go to urbangpt.com.
I bet you it tells me based off the average sales price, in this area or whatever. It's like it's really going to depend on your square footage or something like that. I would imagine that's something along
It's
the lines
not
of what
there.
it is.
I mean,
Yeah, it won't be
Most
that
and-
far.
most-
But for writing property descriptions, emails, blogs, videos, I mean, to get some
Right.
level of substance before you, because sometimes you just sit there, you want to write something and you don't even know what the hell to start doing. And then if you read somebody else's on the same topic, it gives you inspiration. But now it's like, this is writing it for me. And then on top of that, you add your own spice to it. And it's pretty
I'm
crazy.
still trying to load ChatGPT.
Yeah, it seems great. I can't wait to use it. Well, the AI works itself out.
The website's loading. Everybody give us a minute.
What's one of the biggest struggles that you each are facing as like a full-time agent, parent? It sounds like you both have kids. You have a lot going on. You're both managing teams. Like, what's the biggest sort of nightmare on a daily basis for you?
I mean, frankly, it's time, and I have to, and like it's almost like you have to leverage your time. Like that's, I mean, we've all talked about it at an extent in different ways, and so as a mother of 4, kids 6 and under, they're very needy,
Cakewalk, right?
Very needy, yeah, so easy. I mean, I just left the house. I was like, Sam, please take over. I gotta go. No, I mean, and my husband's got a job that requires him to be kind of on. We're all in jobs that requires to be on all the time, and so it's navigating time, and it's been a pain point since I've had children. So, but solvable. It's been consistently solvable every time.
You're a
we're
good
like,
salesperson, right?
yeah, that's it.
Can you sell the kids?
Yeah.
Free up the time. I mean, pain point. We're looking for solutions.
Those are investments, my friends.
okay.
4 investments.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, some investments we hold and some we sell. Just wasn't sure. I mean,
love it.
how much do we like our time? Mike, same question. Like pain point for you as this busy guy with a content creation, team management, kids, all of the things.
Turning off, I would say, is the hardest thing to do. Because the reality is, from what I've seen, is things will come to help aid us in the business: transaction coordinators, admins, virtual assistants, CRMs, different software, ChatGPT. But the reality is, once you boil that all down, you are replacing time for one thing, but then you end up getting more clients. So it's like no matter what you do, you always end up not having enough time. So it's just the reality of it. The more time efficient you try to make your business, the more business you end up getting. So it's really, really tough to scale, right? So for me, it's turning off and knowing when to turn off. Like, do you take that call at 7:30 at night, like right after or right before you're trying to get the kids in bed? You know what I mean? Like, do you take that call or don't you? What do you do?
Honestly, I've gotten a lot better at it. I have like mentally told myself the world isn't going to fall apart if I don't answer in this hour.
Right.
I've like dedicated that to, if I have to negotiate, that's one thing. And that's pretty much it. Like that's, I can call you back at 8:30 when my kids go down and we can schedule an appointment. You can email me if they want me. They're still going to come around. And if they don't want me, which has never happened, like I missed a call during that time, and so I lost it. If they don't, then I don't want to work with them. They're not my people, and I'm just going to spend my time finding more. You know,
100%. But the reality is, it depends on where your source of business is coming
Sure.
from. So if a lot of people already know, like, and trust you, then they'll trust that you need time and that they have to wait for you. Right. But for the agent that doesn't have that and they're not getting a lot of business from their sphere, or they're just starting out in the market, like they have to take those calls.
Oh, well, and that's why I'm saying this
So
has
even
been
me.
a progression. Like
Right.
in the beginning, I was like
100%.
7:30. I'm sorry, I got to walk away from the Twins right now. you know.
So even me, like if I get an inbound call at 7:30 at night, like I literally just turn to my wife and say, it's an inbound call. Can I take it or not? And
Yeah, sure.
she's the one that determines if I can or can't. But I still take inbound calls, but like negotiating stuff like that, of course, we're trying to do best by our clients, but you try to turn it off as best as possible.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's really hard.
Do you think mindset helps?
It does. And prepping, like I read a lot of and listen to a lot of things on stoicism and all these different things. And I'm big on productivity and using all these different tools to manage my business. And the reality is, no matter how much you read, learn, listen to, tools you use, it ends up being filled up by something or someone. Like it's just a revolving door of just business coming in. You're either getting business or you're busy with this or busy with that. It's hard. It's really hard.
And don't you also feel like you're made for it?
Yeah.
Like you have to be.
Yeah, you do. You
Right?
definitely. I think any business owner, to some capacity, has to be
A sick human.
a sick,
Yes.
sick human. Yeah. I mean, I watched my dad growing up. Like, he was around and stuff like that. But I remember him getting done. He was an electrician. I remember him getting done with work, and I would be looking at him in the garage from our second floor. We had a two-family, and I would be watching him fix stuff in the van, organize his van, get it all straightened up. Like, it looked like he was operating like at a high level. You know what I mean? Because you'd see other contractors, they'd have all shit stuffed in the window, like paperwork,
Yeah.
like
Sure.
So I mean,
You
like,
still see that.
yeah, exactly. But like the reality is, you don't have to be that obsessed with it, but you kind of want to be, because your family is riding on, like, my
Yes.
wife doesn't work right now and I have two kids, right? And I'm in a market where the prices are literally triple the other market that I was in. So my income from Pennsylvania just couldn't support me living here. Even though I had a great income in Pennsylvania, doesn't mean I have a great income
Right.
here.
Right.
So for me, it was hard. I'm a little bit better now because I have some people helping me, but it's still really hard. It really is.
We talked a lot about like Sam and I, my husband. We talked a lot about like quality of time versus quantity. We just talked about this, Seth, didn't we? I don't know.
That's
I just
actually-
talked
that's actually a
to
good topic.
someone.
I probably
that-
wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, you probably weren't, and maybe you need to listen more.
Yeah, maybe.
So, let's ask Jennifer.
Would that be a quality of time issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
So like, I explained to my husband, like, to be like a good parent, a good dad, a good mom, we don't have to be with them from 3:00 when they get out, or 5, depending on which child we're talking about, to when they go to bed at 8. We need to be extremely present when we're with them. And they will respect and learn. My kids already know. They've sat with me while I'm like, which picture do you like? My older ones. Which photos would you put on here? I mean, they've sat and heard me on calls. They've been on some of the calls that I've been with Seth, where I say,
by
right?
the way, yeah,
He taught my 3-year-old a fun little word.
not our best moment.
So it was my fault, because I usually preface all of those calls with, I've got
kids are
my
in the
kid
car.
with me,
Yeah.
right? And I did not.
I don't know
I'm
if
on
you've-
with Seth.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm very coachable. So
Yes.
so now I won't swear unless you swear first.
go.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh,
and
good.
Then, and then
Yeah.
I'm like,
You've done a really good job.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
You know,
So-
we'll tell Jennifer about that instead. Okay.
Yeah. You said, do we need to be like driving in the car line to pick up our kids for that hour? No, it's a total waste of my time. I can leverage someone going to pick them up, but when they come through the door, they're going to have one-on-one time with mommy.
Yeah.
You know? And so my mindset has changed about how I spend my time. And then I just tell myself, you got to let that hour go. Whatever you missed, you missed. There's another hour where you're going to get something.
What about the weekends? What do you do on the weekends?
Ooh.
Spicy topic.
Yeah.
Define
Erica-
weekend.
I'm gonna be depressed.
yeah,
After
exactly.
this podcast, which, by the way, we're actually leaving, and you guys can just host the Word podcast moving forward.
I do one open house. Erica does the other. Meredith does both. So it gives me a Saturday or Sunday. And if something requires all three of us, like Sam gets it. My intention as we grow is to bring more agents on that want to use. We have a really good conversion rate on open houses.
Yeah, we do
and
too.
so it's like a kind of a privilege, right? You get to go to an open house as a new agent and get leads, right?
Right.
And we train them on how to convert. And so, so my intention as we move forward is to not do that. I don't think it's necessary. I've already told clients, you need me for negotiation, and 80% of the work is done before we go to market.
Right.
And so
That's a good way to put it. Actually.
yeah. And so, and then also we give them a checklist and we tell them, like, these are the 150 things we're going to do. And if you're a high D and you need them checked as we move along to see that we did them, cool. And if you just want to be told, then we'll just tell you we did them,
What about buyers? Like on the weekends, you take buyers out?
No, I list, and Erica.
Gotcha, okay.
But also, if she's in a jam, I'm out.
Right.
It happens. And I really try to, here's the thing, COVID in some ways was, it transitioned us in many ways. People are available at noon.
Right.
And so,
Like your buyers and sellers.
yeah, I've done a lot more showings during the day.
Me too, actually. That's a
Right?
good call.
So that's
What
been
kind of
helpful.
job? So this is interesting because one of the things that we've talked about a lot is sort of urban versus suburban and the need for white collar workers to not be in the office. So if you're doing if you're doing showings in the suburbs at noon, something tells me that those are people that work for some sort of company that allows them to work remotely. And they're, instead of taking lunch at their desk, they're going to look at a house, probably trading up.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Totally.
Yeah,
100%.
okay.
That's accurate.
Interesting. I had a question for both of you, and I'm so guilty of this. When was the last time you took a vacation?
Oh, I vacation.
Oh, you vacation.
I got to go to the bathroom. Again.
Do you really? No. Okay. I was like, I feel like I'm a teacher. You can be excused.
So but coming back to, the reason I asked the question is not because
Like a real vacation?
well, you said time and
Yeah.
turning off, right? So
Yeah.
are you taking the time to turn off and like go and shut down?
I always write an offer when I'm away.
Yeah, me too. It
Yeah.
seems like every time I go away, there's a listing, there's a tragedy, there's a fire, there's something. But I mean, here's a good thing that I can tell you. Every single June, we take my daughter up to, she loves Hampton Beach. Okay. So we take her for a week up to Hampton Beach. I bring my laptop. I can never just turn off per se. I'll leave my phone and laptop. Like if we go to the beach and stuff, I'll leave it. You know what I mean? I could do that. But guess what I do when I get back? I check my phone, I check my email, I check all that stuff. And, the reality is my wife is very, I guess, cooperative to that is the word. It's just the way I do it for now. I mean, is it going to be like that in the future? I don't know, but.
So you guys have said a lot, and I think Kristen knows this better than anybody. I lived in Florida for the better part of what was it? I don't know, 3.5 weeks. We went down to Florida. And,
Are you coming home, Seth?
Yeah. Well, we took this listing together, and I vanished off the face of the earth.
I was like, do you forgot to mention you were vacationing for 3 months? No.
Well, the contract was already signed.
So, very similar. I think first off, Jen, my wife, knows that like I'm a sick person, and like a 3-day vacation to me is like a 2-week vacation, right?
Yeah,
So like I'm very fidgety, and I need to like get back involved. It's just who I am, and we're okay with that now. At least I think we're okay with that now. But it was like paradise to be able to go remote, not physically travel, be present with the family, but also, to your point, phone off for a little while, laptop off for a little while, heads down with the family, but then also still be able to get the work done. And personally, there is nothing better than doing deals remote. The Hampton Beach week where you put a deal together and like you can go jump in the ocean 20 minutes later. Like that is when you're like, this is awesome. And what I'm building is awesome because again, we've talked a lot about content, negotiating. These are our skills at best.
Right.
And how do we position ourselves to only do that and help maybe have agent conversations and grow the team and quite frankly, teach other agents how to do this type of stuff too, to build their business. Like that's what I really, really want to do.
Same. We've identified, I'd say, 3 agents that we really, really trust that cover us.
Just who are they real quick?
And,
Are they taking calls from reference?
and when we go on vacation, I will, if I'm coming up to one and I've got a new client, we tell all our clients that we're going on vacation. And
You have to.
And
Do you vacation with your business partner?
yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. She's my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're off.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so, we actually just did one where Meredith, Erica, and I went away, but it was 4 days, but we were fine. I mean, it was an off time. It was like this first week in September. Right. But
I was busy.
yeah, well, good for you. I mean, I was closing, so I and everything started yet. But anyways, we go away together, and we have a couple people that we can trust, and we tell them, and people are pretty reasonable. They're like, of course you deserve a vacation. And I was like, listen, if you see
Except
something,
if their stuff needs to be done that
yeah,
week.
if you see something you love, it will happen. Like we will, our vacation does not get in the way. We're in real estate and we know that. And they're fine with that answer and they're respectful. And then we just make sure and we introduce them to the person that will be there to show them.
Yeah.
And no one
We
cares.
do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're cool.
I'll pay a buyer's agent or give them a percentage if I'm away or whatever. And
Yeah, right.
Just do it that way. But
Yeah.
I feel like to what Seth said, it's a blessing, but it's a curse in the same hand because it's almost like a double-edged sword, right? Like you want the ability to be able to work from everywhere, but then when you have the availability to work from everywhere, you're accessible from everywhere too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
And that's the hard part is for me is at least turning off.
Yeah.
The balance.
The balance. Work-life balance is so hard. It's
right?
really-
Like I went away last year for a week.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you tell me?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I probably still bothered you every day.
Well, every day I would wake up with my laptop and like for
a
2
text from
hours I
Seth.
pumped out PNSs and then,
Yeah.
would go and take a lunch break and look at my computer and like my family kind of hated me, but like it's how we were able to go on the vacation, right?
That's the reality
like
of
this
it.
is our lives.
That's the reality.
You said it. It's what I do for now.
yeah.
For now.
You know?
Yeah.
So what's later look like?
Yeah, who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
nobody knows. You got to enjoy it. I mean, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's a very hard business, in my opinion. It could be grueling.
Later is passive income. It's coaching agents.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not working nights and weekends.
Yep.
And that's it. I mean, that's what I see.
That's what
I want to create a bunch of me's
That's exactly
with their
Yeah.
with their style and flair,
the,
right?
the hardest part for me that I
I like the flair.
With
we
their
have
flair.
so we have a real estate school in Pennsylvania too, and
Mike Urban or
not me.
EXP?
It's me. It's my business partner's school, but like we're directly involved with it. So I go speak there when I'm in. I'm going to be in February, and a lot of agents come out. And the funny thing is because we see a lot of people that are like pre-licensed and are getting before they're actually officially licensed agents. And I'll tell you what, there's been 500 people through the school, and I still can't quantify who is going to make a good agent and who isn't. It's like the least expecting person sometimes
Blows
ends
your
up being
mind.
the best
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah.
And the one that you expect to be the best agent is the absolute worst agent. It's so hard to quantify who is going to be the right fit. And I mean, no disc test or, KPS, KPA, whatever it is. I can't remember, but it really, work ethic is a big deal.
Oh, 100%.
And
Hustle.
100%. And I feel like our like, how old are you, Seth?
38.
38. Okay, I'm 37. You're 37, right?
Yeah.
You're turning 38 really quickly.
Yeah, very
So are you.
quickly. I feel
We're
like
all 38 years old
I feel
now.
like our
We're 37.
generation really has pretty good work ethic, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And the people older than us, I feel like they have really good work ethic. But some of the younger generation, I feel like they need a little bit of help.
Well, I was reading this something the last couple of days. It's like our generation, our age, very specifically, grew up with both.
Yeah.
No computer and the computer. No cell phone and the cell phone.
Right.
No internet and the internet.
Yeah.
No
True.
Netflix and Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like we had it both ways.
We had a mix.
So you were playing outside all the time, home when the streetlights came on, but you also now can, we all know how to type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like this very interesting blend where we weren't incredibly distracted.
Right.
And like I got my first job at like literally 12 years old. And I worked there for 3 years before they realized I was 12 years old. And then they strangely had to take all my hours away, and I quit because I couldn't work enough.
Yeah.
They had a bad onboarding process, but, it's just like, I always just wanted to work.
Yeah.
And that's not the same now.
That was one of the best pieces of advice I got in career visioning. Brad Knowles, he was like, if you want a quick insight to someone, look at how long their work ethic is. And I mean, their work history is. Yeah. And they're not putting down their high school job. So ask them, what was the first job you ever had? And if they're like, oh, when I was 18, I didn't know, like, did you work before that? Like, what's the very first job you had? He's like, you almost always hear they were 11, 12, 13, doing something.
Right.
Like the first time you got compensated. Were you babysitting? Were you at the Showcase Cinemas movie theater? Like, where were you? What were you doing?
I
don't know if I believe if I agree with that.
I think I was 8 and I was cutting my neighbor's lawns for like what now looks like, I think I was a child laborer. I was like, I'll weed your entire backyard and mulch it for like, just give me $9. And they were just like, okay, bro. Like, yeah, of course.
Brendan started working at 22, which is why
this is actually his first job
today.
I mean, ish.
It's an interesting call. I haven't heard that stat before,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was anecdotal, but I think.
What's your first job?
I worked. My uncle's girlfriend had a consignment shop, and I was probably 11, and I went in a couple shifts, and then I babysat Meredith, my admin.
Wow.
Because her sister was 7 years younger than her, so she wasn't like a babysitting age, but they didn't trust her to be with her younger sister. So I babysat her, and when I was 12, and I just all the way, never stopped.
Brendan, do we dare find out?
My first job, I was a sailing instructor in the summer at 16.
I could see that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I could see that.
On the rough
beaches. It was hard. It was
rough
hard.
Beaches
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it was hard.
Yeah.
I was an electrician.
I got
for a short amount of time, and then I was like, I can't work with my dad. So then I ended up getting a job at my brother-in-law at the time, not the same one, real estate, but I ended up getting a job driving a forklift for Estes, which was a trucking company, and I did that for 3 months. I was like, yeah, that's not for me.
Yeah, I bet.
And then I went back to working with my dad, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah,
love it.
So
I did
that's what
pack
we're gonna
some
look
lobsters too. My dad was a seafood broker and owned a lobster plant, so occasionally I would have to go there and pack lobsters, but not a lot.
Did he sneak a few?
No, I don't like lobster really.
Really?
Yeah, unless it has bacon on it.
We're going to let you go.
Yeah.
Listen, we can learn something from Gen Z. It's quality over quantity. They're we're not going to give our life up to this. This is a hard business not to do that in.
What about this? I don't understand this.
What is that?
The snapping claps. Instead of clapping, they do the snapping clap. I
don't speak Gen Z language yet. I'm working on it.
We'll get there.
I do think there's something to that. I get when I have really rough weeks or you get those couple transactions that are really draining your capacity, or you're dealing with someone else in the industry that's unaware, and it really just drives you up a wall. And I just so frustrated. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Working 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, other than maybe some elongated trips to Florida. And
where you still work.
And for what? It's never enough. I can always do more. We're addicted to growth.
Yeah.
And this industry is very toxic in the sense it's all about units, volume. It's no, man, it's about the client experience.
100%.
Right? So, and it's so easy to lose sight of that when you get, especially as you level up, you start networking with more and more people. It's well, I wonder what he's doing. Now I got to get better at my YouTube channel. There's never perfection.
No.
It's so frustrating.
And that's what attracts, I think, people to this business, but it's also the number one reason that people get out of this business, because there's no do this for 3 hours a day, do this for 4 hours a day, and then there's no path, right? It's a free for all, really. And it's like I said, it's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because people that don't have that guidance usually end up failing, but they get into this industry to be able to guide themselves, and then they end up getting out of the industry just as fast as they got in.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's tough.
Or they're very satisfied with I guess like for KW, we'd say like half cap or quarter
Yeah.
cap status, right?
Right.
Very satisfied with their salary there and a couple million sold. And that hurts the client customer experience because we like, people don't, general public, I would presume, doesn't understand how much money from these commissions go back into the business to serve them.
Correct.
And so, we're like, okay, we want to grow exponentially, but it costs money to grow exponentially.
Yeah.
And so essentially, like, this is like, your other, like, your mind shift about it is it's never enough, but it's never enough because we're trying to create an experience for them that's like so incredible. Look at this. I'm like, I'm so
Seth is
excited
gonna
about what I'm
jump
saying.
over the table.
I'm going to break all the equipment. But you know what I'm saying?
I do, and I've made this reference, pun intended, on the podcast before, and with Brendan, it's like I feel like I'm constantly just trying to like get into outer space, like break out of orbit,
right.
and like
I feel that.
There's not enough rocket fuel to punch through the atmosphere, right? And so we fizzle and we relaunch over and over again, and eventually you'll click through, and then you can shut that freaking engine off, right? But that's the hard work.
Right.
And it's like, it's really tireless. And the amount of inertia and energy you need
to
try and, break through, it's so exhausting. Right. So
Interesting thought. It sounds like, and Kristen especially, and I know I've heard this from you numerous times about the client experience, right? Like it's all about the client experience. One would think when you're talking to, sales driven people, like the measure of success would be units sold or some other like easily defined metrics. Is the measure of success client satisfaction or
those reviews right? That's how we measure that.
Yeah,
I mean, how we do.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna start something next quarter. Are you guys familiar with NPS, like Net Promoter Score?
No.
So retail metric. Basically, it's you've all taken the survey in the years of shopping anywhere where you get one. And basically, instead of it being this 300 question survey, I mean, they might ask you a couple of questions. Hey, who'd you work with, Mike? What was Mike's level of expertise? What was his communication? What was his knowledge? All just good data points for us to be able to coach Mike. But they really just ask one question at the end, and it's what it all hinges on. Mm-hmm. You know what it is?
Would you recommend them?
Would you recommend me to friends and family? Okay. And if you're, this is just a Best Buy thing, of course. If you're a 1 through 6, like, you rate them 1 through 6 out of the 10, you're what's called a detractor. You're actually hurting the business. So the lion's share from 1 to 6, you take away business out of that small business. Okay. If you're a 7 or 8, you're what's called a passive. The experience was take it or leave it. Unfortunately, I think a lot of our clients personally are in the take it or leave it field, truthfully, because although I talk a lot about client satisfaction, like for me, how I define client satisfaction today, unfortunately, is not that. It's, did I get you the most money, and was I easily accessible, right? Mm-hmm. And today, like, listen, those two things are pretty important. But the reality is would you recommend me to your friends and family is the true measure of success.
100%.
And that's if you only give me a 9 or a 10. So if you give me an 8 out of 10, it's a push.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not going to rant or rave about you at the dinner table.
Yeah.
They will just be like, oh yeah, I sold my house. Oh, they were pretty good. Mm-hmm. Oh, why are they pretty good? I was just like, no, they did well on price. And like, yeah, they were pretty good. But like, I'm not like, dude, you need to call Kristen, man. She was lights out. Right. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to try and institute.
I mean, that's what my people say about
yeah,
that.
sure.
That's what I thought. I read that on your Google.
I mean, just go look at my Google reviews.
We'll pull up.
I mean, I have 800 Google email addresses, but look at my reviews. They're all really good.
There's 5. No.
We'll have to check the Google business
kidding.
profile later and check it out. But, because that's the thing. It's just like that even the Google review metric, it's like, I mean, you could anticipate that maybe that's what they're saying, but no, a lot of those reviews are quite frankly solicited, right? They're not just people,
Right.
And listen, yeah, we all think that's important. It's a smart business decision to do, but so we're going to try and internalize, like in Q2, like a quick survey. And then listen, if and when they give us great feedback, first off, we're going to improve and act on it. That's what's most important. And,
right.
And secondly, yeah, we'll ask for the review, but
are you doing it, within the transaction or after?
Yeah, do you mean gather reviews now or that hypothetical
like in
survey?
the deal, like after purchase and sale, after
reviews.
So after it closes.
are you asking me when we're trying to gather
am
reviews?
I speaking?
Yes.
Can we go through that again one more time?
I clearly
from the top.
understood it.
So
You
this,
understood it.
I
Thank
understood.
you. Thank
So-
you. Yeah, I knew you did too, Mike. I know. When
Well,
are you asking for that review?
yeah. So we do ask for it in high moments of the transaction.
Okay.
Right, because I find as if we have a closing tomorrow. The client's packing up. Their life is being disturbed. This is a life event for them. They're
Right. They don't
Bad
care.
time.
They don't
Yeah,
give a
bad
shit
time.
about my review
Yeah.
on Google, right? When we get the offer accepted, when we sign
Right.
the PNS, we kind of take a minute to slow down and explain the next steps. That's when a lot of the times we're asking for it. And listen, if for some reason it doesn't come in, we're going to harass them for the rest of their life, but not really. But
We're gonna incorporate it
But
right
kind
after. Yeah, but kind of. Right after PNS.
Yeah.
But then you got to get it after close too, because that's
yeah, I agree.
Two,
And so
I think.
they can only leave one review.
I think
Well,
she's saying 2 asks.
2 asks.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, so we do offer accepted or after the PNS, and we always do either prep closing, post closing, or something like
Right.
that. But what I'm saying is like probably Q2 we'll launch this more in-depth survey to
Mm-hmm.
just gather data for improvement and really try and chase that internal metric. And I think you guys walked in on like we were having like a key performance indicator.
I
meeting,
interrupted
right?
that, by the way.
Yeah, it was cool. You really threw me off, but it's fine. Like client satisfaction, yeah, it's the true measure, and I think review count is not the end all be all of that, right? So
No.
and I think it also gives you action items to
Yeah.
go back and chase. Like reviews are a lagging metric. That
Do you know
are
how
important.
often people ask me for reviews, and I would always refer them, but I've never left a review. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's true too. I
Right?
do that. Yep.
I mean, you're like, oh God, I don't have time for that. But if I know someone, like, I mean, you're
You
not
can
saying
ask Chat GPT to write it down. So.
should I should give them that information.
Genius use. I'm gonna start doing that.
All right, we're up against it on time, so
Okay.
I just want to ask maybe one last question, and then we'll get into Brennan. We'll close this out, but I was thinking about it, and what would you say is the most important vendor relationship you guys have that's not like on your team from a real estate standpoint?
My go-to attorney, lender, and contractor have been instrumental in training me.
Yeah,
I mean, every single time I mean, you guys know every single house is different. There's always something weird that comes up that I've never heard of. I'm like, it doesn't matter how many transactions.
Never goes away.
And and I rely on them in their expertise, and they have steered me in the right direction every single time.
yeah, awesome. Mike,
I would say that's a good one, and I parlay that with a really high producing lender.
Yeah.
That's accessible, not somebody that you get
Right.
shoved down the line on their team, something like that, but somebody knows the ins.
Was
and
that
outs.
shade?
Yeah, no. No. No.
Felt a little like a little bit of
shade
shade.
towards
No. A really knowledgeable lender, because essentially when you first start talking to clients and they're asking questions, of course you don't want to answer every single question that you may not be the most qualified to answer. But the reality is the more information that you have that comes from somebody of a high level to somebody that is a high level, usually we retain that information, right? And a lot of it starts from the first inception of the first phone call and knowing what to ask the client. So, and knowing how to answer their questions. Because a lot of times, how many times do clients ask us lending
All the time.
questions
Oh,
all the
regularly.
freaking time,
Yeah.
all the time.
I think it's the biggest misconception. They have no idea how to financially get started. I know personally when I was buying, I had no idea how to get started.
I was on with a client literally before I walked in the door, and they were asking me how they apply to buy a condo. I'm like, you don't apply, you don't apply to buy a condo.
Yeah.
You apply to potentially rent a condo. But I would say lender, and just having that connection and being able to ask like high level questions, and I would parlay that into appraiser. I often talk to multiple appraisers, both here and in Pennsylvania, and just pick their brains on certain things, especially if I get the report back. I'm wondering why they made, not that I'm making micro adjustments on my listings and stuff like that, guys, but in my
It helps you learn about pricing.
I'm probably the only person that's sitting here that could say they've won 10 out of 12 appraisal disputes in their career.
Oh, yeah.
That's very,
that's pretty good.
very
That's
rare
amazing.
to win. And it boils down to, not everybody's going to know as much as an appraiser, but if you speak their language,
Sure.
it'll get the deal pushed forward.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
You've taken the time to care about what I do every day, so I'm going to take the time to hear you out.
Correct.
You're not some stupid agent.
And that goes a long way, right? When
Yeah.
someone speaks your language and you can tell that
It
they
does.
care,
Right.
like you're going to listen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you ask questions to these people and they're giving you that information and you truly care what those answers are, and then you reiterate that information to the client because they ask, like, what happens if it doesn't appraise? Or what happens if this happens during I know there's not a lot of FHA and VA deals here, but like they want to know that. They don't want to have to get off the phone with you and get reconnected to somebody else. They want information now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And while we don't want to give them disinformation, we want to provide high level information that we could back up. And getting that information from somebody else that's a high producer is
super smart.
important.
Yeah. Great.
I agree.
Good shit.
Is that
Cool.
it?
One last question. So it is called The Word. So now we're looking for what the one word that would define your next 12 months.
I got mine.
All right, Mike.
Consistency.
Consistency. And what does that mean to you?
Consistency to me means consistently publishing a video once a week, at least once a week. And so far, I may have missed once, but I've been pretty good at it for the end of last year and the beginning of this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
All
Video
right,
content. Content is so important, man. Big time.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm
you-
setting up a YouTube page when I get home.
And you hate it.
Yeah.
I am not a rule follower, so I'm giving you 2. I named my years. This year's health and wealth.
What was last year?
I have so
Last
many
year was-
questions
last
about
year was
naming your
growth.
years. Okay.
Last year
year
was
was pain.
growth. Yeah, last year was pain. Last year was growth, and we doubled. And so that was cool. Whatever the word is, it is embedded in my calendar. I believe that what I learned this year was as we doubled, we like physically and mentally killed ourselves. So we're like, okay,
Growth is so hard.
right?
Big time.
So how do I double again, but not want to cry? And and this is about like time and energy and mental and taking care of yourself and
Wrong button.
and all the things. So yeah. So that's what we're
I like
doing.
it. Can you
Yeah.
just can I prod a little bit?
Yeah, man.
What's what would you say your 2 biggest action items are in health and wealth?
My 2 biggest action items. So I need a full night's sleep. I tend to work till 1:30.
In the morning?
Yeah, midnight. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because here's what happens,
I'm
right,
in
guys?
bed at, like,
my kid
10
gets,
or
After the
15.
kids go to bed.
I work after the kids go to bed. My kids today, Avi was home. He was sick.
Right.
So, that took some time away.
Sure.
I got to still get it done. We got to get it done for our clients. So whatever time needs to happen, needs to happen. So, that comes back to leveraging backup care for when the kids,
100%.
right? Like, so we're looking at how we spend our time daily, all 3 of us. And so what was the question? Action items?
Yeah, I was just being
Implementing
nosy.
the health
Yeah,
and wealth.
implementing the health and wealth.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we just hired a financial advisor, and we're going through every single bit. Sam's a stock guy, real estate. So what are our next moves?
How do you marry the two?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so we're doing that kind of work.
Is it Martin?
It is.
Martin.
He doesn't
Martin
know,
Conley?
He doesn't know yet, but he's getting hired next week.
Congrats, bro.
Martin's my financial advisor too.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
See? And
He's awesome.
thank you for
He's
that
the best.
referral.
Yeah.
Amazing. He
Really?
was
Yeah,
amazing.
lights out.
Yeah.
We interviewed many advisors, and he was fabulous. Fabulous.
That's good.
And food. Like, I mean, like the was like fueling our bodies and
Yeah.
making sure that we're at our, I got to get my body at my optimal level so I have the energy. It's not about just like vanity. It's about being like waking up in the morning and not going, God, I can't, am I going to do this today?
Wellness is a big deal.
Wellness. Yeah.
It is
total
a
wellness.
huge deal.
Yeah.
And I've also, I would say I had my hip replaced last December. Ever since after that, I've been trying to, not to,
No, go ahead.
not to take the stance here, but it's important for veteran agents and veteran loan officers, attorneys, whatever. I mean, you really have to take care of yourself. And it's amazing that once you start taking care of yourself, you end up getting more business.
More business.
Right?
Well, that's
Do you
it.
feel that
Health
way?
and wealth. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just opens up.
taking care of yourself really
We better start taking care of ourselves, Seth.
Well,
go get a facial, go to the gym,
Yeah.
go to, go do those
But
things.
it's got to be those consistent things.
It has
like
to be
you
right.
want to.
I like how you worked his word in.
Yeah, there we go.
Good
Yes, right?
job.
Yeah.
Good job, Kristen.
We need to
And
have these
that's
people
why.
on our show again.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh my God. It has to be put in the calendar
Yeah.
and done regularly.
100%. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It's making sure that the kids are situated.
Yeah.
And we literally have a schedule for them, and it's crazy. If you saw our calendar, we have like 5. It's insane. And speaking to each other, and we have a different color for after school time, and like what that looks like for each of us. And so,
Do you time block and
Time
like
block.
different colors
Yep.
for kids and kid
Yep.
time and stuff like that?
Yep.
Really?
then you got to take care of your like relationship, like
Yeah.
date time is in there.
Yeah.
And that can literally for us, sometimes we actually like to work together. So we have to be cognizant of not working together. Like we'll go in his office after the kids go down. We're both on our laptops.
Is your husband an agent?
He's not an agent. He's in business and M&A and business development.
Oh, okay.
And so he's looking for businesses for the company to buy, you know,
Right,
so it's
right,
like a
right.
similar like lead
Oh,
gen.
interesting.
Yeah. And so we're,
So you're both working from home a lot.
oh yeah. Well, he's more back in the office now, but
Gotcha.
but yeah, we have been.
Okay.
And like shutting that down and just being like, let's get takeout
Together.
and just talk for 1 hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, remember me? Hi.
Jen
Yeah.
and I have been trying to do that more, especially as we get ready to have a second kid. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
like, even just me personally, like, you know, today's a long day, been in the office all day, get home. It's one of my later nights, right? Jump right into bedtime routine where Kennedy's going to bed a little bit later, you know, so it's like 8:39. You know, you do all this work for what, an hour together? It's not enough, right? So I've just been trying to get up like 1 or 2 days a week super early. So
Yeah.
this
What time do you get up?
I usually am up between 6 and 7. That being said, this year I'm trying to get up at 5, you know, and once this week,
5:30.
once this week,
5:30.
and once last week, 3:30.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
that's like
Yeah.
impossible for
Yeah.
me to
No,
try.
you know what it
doesn't
is.
work.
Like,
It's-
here's the deal. I'm fine on 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep, right? So Jen takes
for
the
you.
bullet on all baby things all the time. She's the best. She allows me to be the sick human that I am, which is great. We work well together. And I'll tell you what, like, it was the funniest thing and the strangest thing. So I'm up at 3:30. I just woke up. You know, I was just like, I'm just going to get up. Screw it. I have so much to do. It was just on my mind. So I went downstairs. I just had a cup of coffee and like chilled for 30 minutes in quiet, caught up, you know, watched the news, watched a show I've been meaning to watch that I haven't had the opportunity to do. Then I did the dishes. One of Jen's core job accountabilities at home, she always takes care of the house, always does the dishes. So I helped her out. You know, she's 8 months pregnant. So I do
Sure.
the dishes.
You better be.
I
This
reload.
one time I decided.
No, listen. So
Can we just touch on the fact that his wife has a core accountability?
that's okay. Listen, Jen, I hope you're not listening still.
Thank God
And
she
Jen,
shuts
you're a
it off
boss,
at
and it's
8.
important.
She's one of those, yeah.
She's one of the
No, but
18-minute people.
She's
So-
in an Excel spreadsheet somewhere.
So you guys are the worst.
We do that though. I know
So-
that sounds crazy, but we have chore jobs, like because you
Yeah.
have to talk
Right.
about it. But
Yeah.
Ted, not trying to
So,
interrupt you.
so you know, I do the dishes twice, and like I'm trying to catch us up, right? And so then I love cooking, so it's like 4:45, almost 5 in the morning. I've gotten some work done. I've done some of the house duties, right? I'm like having a great morning. I'm fucking wired. I've had like 3 cups of coffee, right? It's great. So
Noon, you're done.
So Kennedy stirs upstairs, right? So I don't have the baby monitor on, nothing. So Jen takes care of it. And I'm like doing the dishes, hustling around downstairs. So Jen comes downstairs like half asleep, just resettled Kennedy, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm making banana bread." And she's just like, and she literally is just like, "What the fuck?" And just like turns around and goes back upstairs. So it's like, she comes back down at like 6:30. She's like, what were you doing this? When did you get up? Like, and I was just like, "Oh man, I did the dishes." She's like, "How many cups of coffee have you had today?" But dude, I'm telling you, then I came to work. I beat everyone in the office. I had one of the most productive mornings. Like I worked half a day
Yeah.
before anyone woke up.
Yes.
Like, and then we did podcasts that day. Like it was such a great day. I caught up on like 2 weeks worth of
Were
work.
you burnt out
Right.
the next day?
No.
No?
That's impressive because that would
No.
happen for me.
Yeah,
But
that same thing.
so just like that, I don't want to call it anxiety, but like the to-do list never stops growing during the day. Like to be able to come to work, to-do list done, inbox empty, and took care of my family. Like, dude, I was like up on a high.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
Is that
like,
when you woke up at 3:30?
yeah.
I might try waking up at
So
3:30 then.
and you know,
You want to do it?
did it again.
I don't want to do it.
No?
I tried it before it didn't work.
Oh, I also did like 60 push-ups that morning. So the next morning, I was like, dude, I'm so
my
sore.
God, it hurts.
And Jen's like,
So
what,
you
like,
literally did everything.
Yeah,
you were
there's
like, I'm
nothing-
just going to
Did
do
you
all
do-
the things.
Did
I'm
you
telling you.
journal and do affirmations?
yeah, really.
And practice gratitude?
I did the night. No,
Wrote
I-
10 notes.
I did the night before brain dump into my wonderful,
Good.
remarkable
You
tablet.
should. It's important.
But no, it's just
this
like
podcast is sponsored by Remarkable.
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
We need
retail.
40 listeners for that.
But no, it's like, so I'm trying to do that a couple days a week, and I'm trying to really I've literally had my alarm set to go off at 5 to 5:30 for 2 years straight, and I just don't get out of bed. So I'm trying to be way better with that, and it's really, really helping. So
We-
So
I
is
like
that
those
part of
hacks,
accountability?
yes,
Wasn't that your word for
it was.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
That all ties.
Yeah.
You know what we should introduce to this? Daily. You should add daily routines. I think a lot of people are interested in a realtor's.
Yeah.
Not that I want to talk about that, but I think it could be a good.
Yeah. Well, so
Like-
today I slept in.
Like it's fun talking about our
Yeah.
daily routines.
The-
I feel like people
Ken-
like to hear that.
Kennedy was the alarm. I mean, she didn't wake up until like 7.
Yeah.
Behind all day. So it's just for me, like
So what time do you go to bed to wake up at 3:30?
I mean, I think we went to bed at like 10:30.
10:30.
I'm always asleep 100% by 11, if not 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm a night owl.
Yeah, you're up late. What time do
Yeah.
you wake up? 7?
6. Well, now I'm trying to do 5:30, but 6:30.
You also have 4 times the children.
Yeah, we get.
You know,
Yeah, you
so
got it. Yeah.
it's a lot more work.
It's like an army.
Well, so then you're looking at like the hacks, like what's it called, Morning Miracle? Like
Yeah.
put a glass of water next to your bed, like
Pound
down that out. I mean, whatever. And so I put there's bottled water in my bathroom, toothbrush is ready to go. Like small hacks to
That's
a good
wake my
idea.
ass
phone
up.
phone
you
across
know?
the room, whatever.
Yeah, Miracle Morning, really good book.
It is a good book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrap
Wrap it up. What do you
it
think?
up. Yeah.
Yes,
this is amazing, and we could probably keep doing it
It's a
forever.
3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it needs to. I think there's something missing with. I think real estate agents are like yearning for talks about like relationships, scheduling, like how do you
100%.
like handle being a big producer and life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I
A
don't know.
lot of support staff, personal
Yeah.
and at work.
And bourbon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
Sometimes,
it takes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
so.
220, 221.
All right.
Hazel
Well,
Maiden.
we really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Seriously.
Yeah,
this is a ton of fun.
so fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When do we
guys,
get paid?
Too. This was good.
So,
$500 an hour.
There's still
Just leave your Venmo.
There's still some espresso rips you could take off the rug later
Okay,
if you
all
want.
right,
So.
all right.
I brought you a coffee mic.
I know.
All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll
Thank you.
Wrap it up.
all right, bye.